Every now and then, the beauty of a game just completely cracks me. This time around, it happened with me in our wonderful park, the Hanseatic Dreamland. Today we are building this very Intamin Blitz Coaster. Usually I don't show too much beforehand, but it's just too beautiful to not showcase. But if you're interested to how that's been built, well, this is your episode. And with that, welcome to chapter number 1, the setting. Today's video, as I said in the intro, is rather special. I have planned to have this hero kind of coaster in the back of the park since the very beginning of this project. It turns out now that this is going to be the Artemax Raid, or the Intamin Blitz, as we all know. So you all know that I am not the very best at coaster layouts, and so it appeared that I struggled quite dramatically building this coaster. I did, oh my god, countless variants of this layout. The initial layout, maybe you guys have seen that, has been done in the showcase for the German channel. I do also have a German channel where I occasionally have some showcases, and I did do a showcase video of the brand new DLC, including the rides, and to show off the coaster, I did build a quick layout. This is the basis of the ride, even though I have to say that other than the location of the swing launch and the top hat, nothing from that initial layout is still existing. I changed a lot of things, and I must admit there are a couple of things I want to address at the very beginning because they are part of the setting. I mean, story-wise, thematically wise, it's pretty obvious that the setting is an industrial hall in the Hamburg harbor area, and we are having a abandoned kind of shipyard in here. This is the setting from the theming wise, but from the coaster wise, I also have to give you a bit of a kind of better, I think, context. This layout is super spacious. It is not tight whatsoever. It's flowing. It's rather big. It's not hyper big, you know. It's not going. I mean, there's that like one hyper Intamin Blitz hyper coaster, which is even more spacious, I guess, and even more crazy. It's got nothing to do with that one. It is a very loose interpretation of myself, but I thought if we follow the story of Hanseatic Dreamland, which deals with, you know, with this abandoned harbor area, you could either go and have this wonderful big hall, which used to be the good old shipyard theme after a dedicated theme. I could have gone for the sorcery theme or like a haunted theme or whatever, and try to again put in as much as I can in a big hall like that. Or you can go the opposite direction and just use the entire space for your main attraction, which is exactly what we do over here. We are going to go very big on it. So we are imagining that this is one of the latest installments in this park that already has made some very good money, you know. The park is established, the whole story has been sold. People know by now there is this Hanseatic Dreamland, you know. We have a couple of very interesting rides in here, starting from the Tipper coaster and the Mug ride, and you know, we also have a couple of other very interesting things like the Western themed hall and now the sci-fi expo lately. So enough guests do visit this park every now and then, you know, and we do have enough money, and also we do pull enough people into our parks that I envision this being a realistic thing. And as for the theming, you know, it just kind of is served us on a silver plate, I should say. I'm not even sure if that's a saying in English as well, but it is very obvious to go for that. And we are going to keep the kind of shipping or ship-focused, harbor-focused setting, and we go all in to a very, very detailed, abandoned, old, rusty storage hall, ship yard kind of thing. And I must admit, the end result, you've seen that at the beginning with the teasers, even blow my mind. On the way there, I have discovered so many different pieces and so many different little things that made the whole build just so much better every single time I found out about these things. And there are a couple of elements in this ride that I didn't plan at the beginning, but they just appeared to be usable and actually good during the build. I also decided to go for a separation so that, you know, the idea is that you do have two separate halls. The smaller one being the actual ship yacht, you know, ship shipyard where the old ships have been constructed, and the other one being a big industrial hall where a lot of storage goes. And then I tried to tie in the layout. As I said at the beginning, nothing stayed the same, and so I changed the layout a lot of times. And this is why I'm just leaving in a tiny bit in today's speed build to quickly talk about my idea behind this. So it is a very unusual way to begin with. We don't have the top hat at the beginning. We do have a launch over here that goes into a very overbanked, almost full roll, but then it goes down into a curve. Then it is followed up by a nice roll and followed by a couple of, turns and twists until we go into our first little mid-course brake run to operate a couple more trains. That was necessary, which is exactly the part that then leads into the swing launch. And the part after the swing launch is super long, very flowing, a lot of twists and turns, one or two, I think 2 rolls, and at the end we have like a little bit of a dive loop kind of thing that leads us into a special track element at the very end. I'm kind of happy. I think if you go for realism, it is definitely not realistic in that sense that this is something Intamin maybe would build tomorrow. But in terms of physical ability and how it would realistically flow and work, I think the coaster is realistic, Some elements, how they are built into each other, kind of are pretty typical. Others are different. And I went a little bit more creative with them, but I spent a whole bunch of time making it really good. Now, if you made it till this point in time, a big thanks first of all, but if you want to help me out even more, there's Instant Gaming, the sponsor of the channel, as you should know by now. And if you have a bit of money spare and you don't have your games of your dreams or DLCs or whatnot, for example this DLC, you can get it via Instant Gaming for a good value. You can just type in whatever you want, find it there, click it from the link in the description down below, or the one you'll find top right now, and you do help me directly and you save money at the same time. Isn't that great? Anyways, that is Instant Gaming. Let's continue with our video and the next chapter. Chapter number 3 and the final big speed build chapter is the hall. I'm gonna call it. I could have also called it the halls because it's like 2, but that just kind of sounded weird. So it is the hall, and I must admit at the beginning, I've cut out quite a lot of material this time around. Over half of the material. That is very unusual. Like usually I cut out like 30-ish%, maybe 20 to 30-ish%. I don't include in the time lapses, which, sometimes is where I get a little bit distracted and the footage is kind of unusable. Or sometimes when, I try something and that doesn't lead anywhere, I'm just completely gonna leave that out. By the way, for those of you who always think everything is perfect from the beginning, it's not. It's just like what it seems to be from the footage you see, but no, there's a lot of struggle, a lot of trial and error included, which mostly is cut out. But this time around, there's even more cut out, like a whole bunch of things all kind of edges I've been tidying up, I left out, and it's not done, by the way. I can already tell that the whole queue section is just a placeholder for today's video, because that has to be tied into a bigger episode of making the whole connection to this area, because this area on its own stands on its own right now. It is on the opposite side of our old harbor section, and on the other side facing the sci-fi hall entrance we did last time around. So there's quite a bit of space that we need to first of all cover and include into the park. Maybe I should give you a tiny bit of an info about this project as a whole. I thought about ending it rather soon, but I was actually talking to a couple of people, talking to my brother. People love this project quite a lot, and also I do like it quite a lot. The frequency will definitely go down. The shift will go towards the Four Lake Forest as my main project, but this project over here, I will do 2 things actually. The first thing is going to be I'm trying to tidy it up as much as possible to call it a day for now, or let's put it differently, to have a situation in this park that the park is in a state that you could release it, which I will do then as a V1. But as it always is, my mind goes crazy and I've got a lot of ideas. And when I feel like the idea suits better into Hanseatic Dreamland, we'll come back and add it in later. Just as we did with Yosemite Valley, which hasn't been dead for about a couple of years now and always comes back from the dead. So yeah, that is something very fun that I want to do with this project. You know, there's not like that huge kind of idea I still have in mind with this project. I think most of the things have been done. The proof of concept has been done way in the past already. I've done so many things in this project which I'm still in love with. But, you know, there is kind of this ingenuity is missing. I do get that. And you know, for myself as well. There's ever so much you can do with a harbor, abandoned harbor like that. You can obviously theme a lot of abandoned areas and just make the whole lot other stuff nicer. But I think we're going to have like a huge long live stream for that. This will be fun. I do have a couple days off in about 2 weeks time. This is where I will be live streaming a couple times. So if in case you guys have time, well, tune in. There will be a couple of live streams. I have no idea how exactly, but I'll let you know on Discord. So in case you haven't joined my Discord, please do so. Link in the description down below. It's not the most active places in the world, but it's very nice to catch up with people, see a couple of pings here and there when, you know, when there's new stuff outside, and you can also see what other people create. There are great creations in there as well. So pretty nice space, I guess. So would love to see you there. Anyways, I rambled a little bit. Let's go back to the halls. I did reuse a couple of the pieces we already had in the park, and for good measure, because they are great. Why shall I not? You know, some of the cranes we've already been using in the past, I've been building at the beginning. Some of the structures from the huge harbor cranes, like the container moving giants, I've been repurposing in here as structures, which realistically would be in. But they also built a whole bunch of new structures, as you will be able to tell over here with the roof. The roof itself is a huge structure, and this time around, funnily enough, it is not only a structure, it is part of the theming. In that sense that I wanted to go for this very kind of industrial look, and so I tried to make the roof as heavy and as strong looking as possible, because that is quite a humongous you know, hall that needs to be covered, and then the structure of the roof needs to be relatively stable. You know, there's a lot of rain in Hamburg, there's occasionally snow in the winter, so there's a bit of weight that needs to be held on that roof. But also I wanted to make it as nice looking as possible, with having a lot of window areas to let the light in, basically benefit from the lighting engine that this game comes with. And yeah, let's just face it, I'm not really sure. I have a feeling. So I gotta be honest with you, I don't know for certain, but I have the feeling Frontier has tweaked something about the lighting in this game with the last update. I can't really pull in evidence. I tried to compare it with the old state of the game, but then again, I can't really roll back. So I only could check a couple of screenshots from the same areas, which, you know, it could always be a little bit of a change because you build so many other things already around, but there is a feeling I have that something about the lighting, about the poppiness, about the colorfulness has changed, and towards the more realism-focused one. I can't really pinpoint it. It's very hard. It's a feeling I have. But when you see the beauty shots at the end and the POV, there is something about it that just leaves me a little bit confused, because I can't remember the game looking so insanely great. It always looked good, don't get me wrong, it always looked great. But especially people were saying, and you know, for a good part I can agree, the game didn't really look that much better as Planet Zoo, for example. Of course, indoor lighting is one thing, especially in the dark, but in general, you know. But now, this build in specific, because I have also been building in Planet Zoo just a couple minutes before I went back into the game a couple of times, the difference was massive. It was insane. Not only in the graphics and lighting, but also in the clarity and the structures and the kind of textures. I have no idea what they did. Might also be graphics update on the graphics driver side of things, if that makes any sense. I don't know, but it is insane. And yeah, the building itself, the hall, does play a huge role in that, because maybe I have just found the perfect setting for the game. Maybe I've found the exact setting that shows the muscles of the games the best. I don't know, just some oily upper arms muscles here before heavy lifting. I don't know, guys, but it is just looking so good. And the more I build, the more I wanted to continue, because it just started to look exactly what I had in mind, and even more so. So at some point, I stopped the recording, and there are a couple of things to discover in the real-time part. I haven't really on camera here or in the time lapse, just because I thought to keep a couple of secrets, you know, for the final couple minutes. So you guys have a reason to stick with me, but also I have a reason to show you some more stuff in the real-time part. As I basically cramped down the time lapse a little bit together today to not make the episode awfully long, because we will have a rather long real-time part in which I'm going to show you a lot of things, and we will have the on-ride, which in this case is also a little bit longer than usual. So I guess without further ado, let's go into the real-time part. Alright, here we are in the file. You can see a coaster going by. It takes a while until we go into the POV. I have to explain a couple of things. We do have a little bit of an off-ride experience, first of all, being in here. And as I said, there's a lot of things I've actually done that wasn't caught on camera. We'll check a couple of those in the next couple of minutes. But I must admit, I have a bit of an issue with the park at the moment, as I had it closed for the most time, because I was testing a couple of things. It appears that all the changes in the last couple of updates made it so that the park seemingly isn't really, attractive to the people anymore, so I have a hard time getting guests into the park. I have read a couple comments lately that this seems to be a widespread issue that a lot of people have, but like it bugs me quite a lot because as you can see, we barely can get the coaster cars filled in, and the park itself has very rare guests. I mean, there's the coaster coming. Look at that one. Ooh, just for us, right in time. And now there's a little thingy I did over here. A little splash moment. The coaster comes in, and we can just follow it around real quick to see some of the movement. And there you have it, coming up here, over bank turn. Woo! I think the pace is overall really good. So getting in here, there's a little bit of a mid-course brake run over here, getting into a door that just opens before time. Then you actually should go up there, but then apparently that doesn't work. You can see the door shuts down, but you can still get a glimpse of the coaster passing by there. And yet again, and off it goes into the spike up there. Very hard to catch, but you get all these kind of ideas that something is happening. And then off we go, back over the huge spike. You can't see that really from here. There you can see it. Out of the window you can see it a little bit. And then it just comes back in. And you can also every so slightly see it catch going by a little bit. But then eventually it'll come back into this room. So there we have it. And this is what we've seen already a couple minutes earlier. So there it comes all the way around. Woo! And the other one comes in. So off it goes. Very nice indeed. It's a bit of a pity. If the coaster would operate normally and fill in quickly enough, we would have a nice couple of coaster car interactions. There would be, I planned it so that they do have a nice bit of interaction between the two cars. It's a bit of a shame, you know. Oh, look at that, more people and more people coming in. So maybe with the next one we can simulate that, so we can show you, because that is cool. I really took a long time to find the perfect, kind of setting so that we have multiple coaster cars operating at the same time, yet not run into issues with like multiple interesting elements I put into the ride. So if everything goes to plan, then we should see in a bit that this coaster is about to leave. So there is a certain minimum holding interval in between that needs to be tied in, but I think that should be well done now. Even though we should actually, if it's correct, it should be starting about now. But it doesn't, seemingly, because it does normally start before this one enters the other room, which is a bit of a pity that it doesn't. So now it does. Let's see if we can catch maybe, but they're ever so slightly too slow. That is such a pity. Anyways, I shouldn't do too much about this because it just takes a while. But yeah, this interaction between the different coaster cars was really damn cool to see. Woo! There we have it going up here. But yeah, I put it at 4 p.m. because that time of day, and this is something I wanted to show you, is ridiculously beautiful in this file. I mean, some of the materials over here just give us one of the most absurd nice looks. Look at that. We're just gonna wait until we catch the car. It's just a couple of seconds until it comes over here, but it just looks so freaking insane when it goes through that little roll over there, coming from this long right-hander and then rolling over into a left-hander. But it just like, like with the light glaring down here, just go up and you see all the movements in between, and then you can. It's just like the pure coaster beauty for me personally. I'm really, really, really damn impressed by how that turned out. I'm very excited also to show you around a little bit from a different camera. Look at that, there you have it. Ooh, there you go, roll around. Damn, and then off we go into some other parts of the coaster. There it goes, and just God, I could do this forever because that all looks so freaking beautiful. We also have that nice shot over here with the coaster double spline support to the lower ground, and we've got a couple of interactions. Like this shot over here has 4 separate parts of the track. Actually, they're also in succession. So we have the lowest part being the first. Then the one in the center that you can see in the back is the second with the spline. The third one is the one in the middle behind the 2 back ones, and the other one going above the front one is actually the last one. Look, there's one coming. Oh, I love that one over here too. Goes all the way into the roll. Oh, look at that. Damn, we go. And all the light glaring in between is just so phenomenal. And there we have it coming. Ooh, damn it. So good. Anyways, let's finally go over into the other room. By the way, I should say there are 2 boats in here. I'm not entirely sure if they will stay. They're both, like this is one boat, I just copy-pasted it. It's from Duom. Duom has some absurdly great and insanely clean blueprints on his workshop. So if you want to check that one out, it's Duom on the workshop. Insane quality of blueprints. Look at the coaster going over the top hat there. There you go, and we have the coaster going into one of the more common elements, you know, with a lot of hang time, a classic, and then it goes all the way here and goes back into that one. There's a bit of a special I want to show you. This is that one over here. I'm not going to hint into that room. This is something I'm gonna keep for the POV so that there's a bit of excitement left. I needed to rebuild the entire back part or last part of the coaster, so this element over here I added in very late, so it's a bit of hang time, bit of half dive loop kind of element. It's really nothing I've seen like that in real life, but I felt like it could work this way and could be rather fun. So yeah, that's something I did. And then if you go over here, you can see this is where the spike goes in somewhat of a middle room. I thought, you know, that these kind of big walls over here could be something like, you know, separating walls for like machinery and so on. Maybe something that you don't want to have in that open hall. There we have the coaster. Oh God, look at that. Look at this, guys. Yeah, I could spend forever in here, which literally I did the whole day. It's so good. It's just so freaking good. You've got so many insane viewpoints on this coaster. And like the beauty of this coaster itself lies in the coaster. There's not really that much more I want to do with theming. But there's the day gone, by the way. Let's see. Okay, we are still not getting more guests in. It's a bit of a crappy situation right now. I'm not really sure what that is and why they're also critical, because we are on Sandbox and I basically deactivated all the moods, so it should climb, but whatever. I mean, if you click at the rating, you can see every rating is like 5.0, but then you can see the park reputation is still low. Again, I have no idea what exactly that is. Maybe I need to keep the game or the park running for a bit until it climbs, because it is constantly climbing since I've opened it. Whatever. I want to show you around a little and just keeping that last bit off so you can't really tell too much. So this is the station, which is a bit of a temporary one. I will do a bit more detailing once we do all the, you know, pathing, because at the moment the pathing is just like literally this over here. I just like kind of randomly connected that to separate areas in the park, even though I'm still not entirely sure if I'll connect this to this side of the park or this side of the park. At the moment, my guess is that I will have one part here and the other part here, and I'm going to spare out this one. But it could very well be that I'm connecting all of those together with bridges, because that necessarily is what in Hamburg is going on anyways. You've got bridges everywhere. So that is something I would rather do, I guess, and it would also give the whole park more reason to exist the way it does. So putting a couple more shops down here, putting a couple more attractions over here is definitely something I would do. But first of all, I would need to do some custom supporting on the top end, because that one at the moment really is an eyesore kind of thing. It just not does what it should be. I wish to have it better at the point right now. I don't, which, you know, goes down to time reasons. I've spent so many hours on that project already. It's kind of like I need a break from it. I need to go back to Four Lake for a bit, just to get that bit of, you know, energy back to finalize what we've done over here. This one will be completely custom supported, including the hanging overhead bit over here. And it's all going to be very nicely integrated. By the way, if you guys want to be part of this project, just send me some boats. I think this is the most important one. I would need some, you know, I think preferably some janky harbor boards, some janky, rather modern harbor boards, boats. That would be fantastic. I just saw that I did a bit of a mess up over here. I forgot to kind of clean this side off over here, which is a pain. I should definitely do this next time around. I'm not going to do this right now. It's too much, okay? It kind of, actually, to be fair, that just kind of created that insane nice look. So maybe I'm just going to fill that in with glass panels or something like that, because otherwise I would get rid of this insanely nice view here. Anyhow, I think it's about time, guys, that we jump into the coaster. I'm just going to shut up during the ride, but I'll be quickly talking to you afterwards. So it's not going to be the end. Oh, wait, we're just about to leave the station, aren't we? Let's jump in. And we're just going to go to train number 3, that is? Is that number 3? No, 1, 2, 3, there you go. And we're going to go to the front bumper. There we have it. And just going to get rid of this one. Hopefully we are about to start, because it's quite a long ride. So let's have a look if that works. And we are going to be together forever, I guess, in this ride. It's going to be very fun indeed. And I can't wait to see it. Look, the coaster passing by. Oh! It's so good. I just want to... This is definitely a ride I would go on myself. So, not going to lie. This is definitely something I would love to go on. It's giving me these kind of Terran vibes. But then again, it does give me more with the like first roll element over here. Can we just please start? I'm just going to sit in the coaster here. Hello? Wait, hold on. Oh, there you are. I thought the person was gone. The most... Hello? Wait, are you just... Oh my god. I'm just going to be a roll. Damn you. Just that was a pity. Okay, let's go to train number 3 and into the front bumper we go. And now we go. Damn it, sorry, that was my bad. Anyways, we go into this first roll, just like to warm up a little, and then we're just gonna go into the splash, zoom, bam. There we have it. Oh, okay, I'm gonna shut up now. All right, there we have it, my friends. That was one ride on this currently unnamed coaster, I should say. Yeah, you've seen that last little bit. There was a bit of a trick track at the end, which I did after I have, I don't know how many times I've redone this last bit. There is a bit of a trick here because I needed a couple of block sections in this last bit to achieve what oh my god, look at this. I've never seen the coaster from over here. Oh my lord, that looks again, so freaking insane. Like with the coaster even, oh god. Okay, sorry. I'm nerding out about this coaster too much here. But yeah, no, I needed to build this in order to achieve this last bit nicely, in order to have a nice space. Because whatever I did with this turn, with that last turn over here, felt so out of place. I don't know, just getting in here felt like super long and ill. I don't know. Then I had like a bit of a helix here, but you can see from this tight space, no matter what helix I built, it was always too cramped and too tight and whatever. And so I was going through some of the nice elements over here, and I didn't know that we have this kind of half rotating whatever thing. It's almost like the switch track thing, but I didn't even know we have that. I'm not even sure if that's new. Do we have that on the multiverse or like the multi-dimension coaster? I'm not even sure if we have that exact element. Maybe that is a completely new element, because it's kind of cool. You can also change this to 3 pass-throughs before it happens. So you don't need to have this first time going. You can actually have the coaster go back into like another swing if you want to, and then come back into position and do that little turn. So yeah, I might investigate a little bit more what we can do with this, and then it just pushes you around here into the. It's not even a brake run. It's just like the kind of pre-station area, which is obviously an area where you could totally do like a nice transfer track area, which maybe I'm gonna do, because like a huge coaster like that realistically would have a transfer track, definitely. But I mean, this would equally look super nice, and there's exactly the space available in between here, so there's no big need to kind of try to find where I put this. This is exactly the spot where I have it. You could even go and have one lowering down with the raised station design I did, which mainly was to get in with the first roll over here and then going into that launch. And as I said, like I've rebuilt this entire layout I don't know how many times, specifically the first part before going into the big swing element. I've got redesigned so many times. I'm relatively happy now. It is definitely on the long side of things. It's definitely a very long coaster. What I haven't really checked is what are the actual ratings of the coaster. I mean, it's pretty okay. The excitement could be even better, you know. The fear could be a little bit better too. So it's not all green though, but it's definitely not on the bad side of things, you know. It's definitely a very, very nice kind of coaster when it comes to the stats also in game. I mean, I could definitely reach this excitement level to above 6 by having a bit more airtime moments, like from the game's perspective, I guess. Just raising a couple of these things to make them a tiny bit more, you know, engaging, I think, which I may even do, because there are a couple of areas which have a bit of a too nice flow, and I think the Blitz Coaster can be a little bit more aggressive with that. But let me know in the comments what you think about this. I know that there will be a lot of people going completely absurd about this coaster now, which is fine. You know, I'll take all the criticism. I do this for fun. I don't blame you if you have a problem with the coaster itself, so just let me know what you would improve. Maybe I do, I don't guarantee. I will technically try to improve a couple of things. There is still some space left, but overall, from my capability of building coasters and what the game can deliver, I am incredibly happy with the end result. I'm incredibly happy with the theming, and I'm incredibly happy with the overall setting of it. Yeah, I am just very happy with this video, guys. I do hope you guys are too, because certainly that was a pleasure to build. And in any case, if you guys want to help me out, as always, you know, the easiest way is to just sub to the channel or watch another video to let the algorithm know you like the content. But as always, you can like the video, you can become a member, you can use the super thanks, whatever you like to support the channel. Always is appreciated. And yeah, there's not much more to say other than enjoy your hump day. It is Wednesday, my friends. And we do see each other in the next episode. There's a schedule on my Discord in case you want to know what's going on the next couple of days. It is on Discord. You can join it whenever you like. Enough self-plugs over here. Let's enjoy that last little launch into my coaster. And then, well, there's a little hiccup here. It's time to wrap up. Have a good time, guys. And I talk to you, as always, in the next one.